Today starts day one of my 7-day series of becoming her, becoming him, becoming the best/highest version of yourself as you get ready to go into the new year. Now, I'm not one who kind of sees things by timelines in the sense of years. I see that you can change today, tomorrow. You don't have to wait until a new year to change, but just to go along with the script, I decided to do 7 videos on 7 different topics starting on Christmas all the way until the last day of the year. Today, we're going to talk about not conforming to this world. Each of these videos are meant to help you to renew your mind, change the way you see yourselves, make you aware of a lot of things so that as you start to change, you will have kind of a strong foundation as to understanding what you need to be aware of, what new habits you need, what habits you need to let go of, and kind of just help you to change the way you see life. So, like I said, today we're going to talk about the importance of not conforming to this world and understanding that a lot of these distractions are meant to keep us from being our best selves, but also are used to help us escape from our reality, help us escape from the things that we need to change, and help us escape from healing. So, of course, I have a bunch of notes that we're going to go over. These videos are meant to be between 15 and 20 minutes, but you guys know I love to talk. I love to explain things. This is what I'm passionate about. So if I go over 20 minutes, I apologize, but just bear with me. Each video for these next 7 days are going to have a scripture, but I'm going to read this particular scripture towards the end of the video. So, the truth of the matter is that most people are escaping from themselves, and guess what? The world makes it so easy. So when I say escaping, I mean that we find things to give us comfort, that give us a sense of calmness, that keep us from doing what we actually need to do. So you can look at this as procrastinating, as overthinking, or simply just feeding the flesh and using your desires to make you feel comfortable. So the problem is that the world is overstimulating. The world makes everything that we desire easy. And when I say desire, I mean like our fleshly desires. And the world is so loud. Like there's so much going on. There's so much noise, and it keeps you from really hearing God and hearing your inner self and understanding what decisions that you need to make in your life. Instead of getting to the root of whatever issues you may have, you may choose to indulge in some of these escapisms that I'm going to talk about. And you may use things to just make you feel good about yourself, knowing that you really need to take accountability and take responsibility for your actions and for your life. These tools of escape are not helping you heal, and they're keeping you from sitting with your own thoughts. So we're going to get into some of the things that I'm talking about when I say you're using these things to escape. So one, music. The music industry has changed so much, and it has really done so much more harm than good to our society, especially the Black culture. Substance use, so drugs, alcohol. Of course, most people say that they take drugs to help them stay calm or help them to ease the pain mentally, or just to, allow them to not be in their own thoughts. Food is a way to escape, whether you're under eating or overeating, binging TV shows, shopping, being materialistic, idolizing celebrities. Like basically all these things that are outside of you are used to help you escape from what you really need to tackle, what you really need to change, and what you really need to heal. So me personally, my biggest things that I used for escaping was TV shows. I love a good 8, 9, 10 season show. And I would use TV shows to like comfort me whenever I didn't feel like doing work, or whenever I didn't feel like listening to like some high level content. So for example, if you know me, you know that I have a full-time job, but I also am working on building a business. I was a personal trainer for the past 2 years. I'm still a personal trainer, but I'm transitioning into a new business. And so I do a lot of content work when I come home from work or before I go to work. But I used to use TV shows to, keep me from doing that work because it made me feel comfortable. So like TV shows was a big thing for me. Music, whenever I was like deep in my thoughts, as in like overthinking about things, or whenever I just like didn't want to hear from God or hear my inner thoughts. So like maybe when I'm on my way to work, instead of me just being in silence and using that time to, you know, think and just like come up with some decisions or solutions, I would turn on some music to help me just like get my mind off of it. And then food and sugar. So specifically sugar for me lately has been a big comfort. Whenever I'm stressed out, you know, I want a Reese's or I want some ice cream or a cookie. And so these are all things that I personally use to escape. And in the past, I've used things such as, you know, calling a friend or a family member, talking on the phone for hours because I wanted to be distracted from doing what I needed to be doing. That's pretty much it. Oh, and then like I used to follow the Shade Room, and I used to be really big into reality TV, so I would watch all those Love and Hip Hops and Real Housewives of Atlanta, things of that nature. As one, it was a comfort thing because I would do it with my mom when I was younger, but then as I got older, it was just a way for me to, like I said, find comfort. It was what I like to do when I had free time instead of doing things that I really needed to do or address issues that needed to be addressed. The thing about these escapes is that they are quiet. You don't realize that you're escaping until you keep doing it for a long period of time. And the thing about it is that these escapes keep you from having clarity over your life, and they dull your spirit. Like the more you do these things, the more you are not able to hear your inner voice. You're not able to hear God because but eventually you become addicted to it. And that's what this whole thing is about. You become addicted to it because you're doing it every single day or every other day or multiple times a day. And, you know, it's just keeping you from at some point addressing the issue. So the more you get addicted to it, the more you're going to crave it. It's like the more you pour into it, or what's my favorite quote? What you do frequently becomes your frequency. So if you're continuously, you know, scrolling on social media, eating the junk food, you know, watching the TV shows, drinking the alcohol, going to the club, calling this person hours of time of the day, you're going to keep doing that, and eventually it's going to become a habit and a part of your routine. Oh, so okay, as soon as I wake up in the morning, the first thing I'm going to do is pick up my phone and I'm going to scroll for an hour. Like, you just do it unconsciously, and that is the biggest issue here, is that you want to have boundaries with these things or somehow cut them out, because these things are not feeding your spirit in a healthy way. They are feeding your spirit in such a negatively way that it's dueling as in DULL your spirit, and keeping you from just being your best self and allowing you to make decisions that will help make your life better. The thing with these escapes is it costs a lot. And like I said, you don't realize it until you become aware of it. So you become dependent on these things. Like I said, you get addicted to it and you crave it every day, and it becomes your new normal. You start to lack accountability because you're so used to these things, and it's become your normal, and it becomes what you crave. It's allowing you to kind of put everything else on a back burner, and it's keeping you from taking accountability over your life, because instead of you doing this thing to become better, you know, journaling, going to the gym, you know, cooking a meal, you're choosing to do other things, and it's just allowing you to kind of like not have any responsibility over your life. It also causes you to be in this state where you can't be alone or you can't be in silence. You need this said thing to help you operate throughout your day, and that is just not where you want to be in life. You don't want to give power to these external things that is keeping you from, you know, being able to be at peace with yourself. You can't be at peace unless you have this said thing or you do this said thing. You don't want to allow anything externally to make you feel that way. These escapes will keep you from being able to make decisions. It'll keep you from being able to hear from God or even just trust your intuition, because the more you give into these things, you are losing self-trust. Because say, for instance, you wake up one day, you say, you know what, I want to stop drinking, right? Okay, you say you want to stop drinking, you stop for a day, and then your homegirl call you, hey girl, let's go out and take shots. Or first you'd be like, I'm really trying to stop drinking. But guess what? You still go with that friend because you know that this is going to keep you away from doing whatever it is you want to do to better yourself. So you go with that friend, you go take a shot. Guess what? You just like literally put yourself in a position where you don't trust yourself, because you just went against your promise that you made to yourself. You went against the decision that you made for yourself. So now as you continue to do that, you are getting to a point where you can't even trust your own intuition. You can't even trust your own thoughts or your own solutions that you have to certain problems, because you have just been in this constant cycle of not keeping the promises that you made to yourself. So how can you trust your intuition? And then the most important thing is that when you give in too much to these things that are distractions and that are allowing you to escape, you become easily led and easily influenced. And then it keeps you from not being able to, like I said, hear your true self and how you feel about things. I can say for me, most of my life, I have been someone who doesn't follow the crowd, who doesn't do what everyone else do. I've always been very strong-minded and always like stood behind my beliefs. But I can say any of those small moments in my life where I have indulged in things that aren't better for me, I can say that I'm easily to be influenced to keep doing that said thing. So like my last year of college, I joined a sorority, and of course there was a lot of parties, there was a lot of drinking, and guess what? I was easily to go out and get drinks with friends because I had already been doing it with them and I kept doing it. And so at that point, I can't even trust that I can go out with them and not get a drink. Or I'm easily influenced to drink because, oh, well, we did it last week, or, oh, we did it the other day, so it's okay if I just have one more drink, or it's okay if I just go out with them one more time this week. And so with all of these things that we use to escape or hide from the truth or hide from, healing and changing, you just have to know that the strongholds are very powerful, and that you have to become aware of it if you want to change and become better and not allow these things to have control over you. The main thing to be aware of is that it keeps you in this constant loop of not being alone, not being held accountable, and not addressing real life. And that is one of the worst places you can be in life. You're going to be stuck, you're going to be stagnant, and your life is just going to keep going in constant loops where you're not changing, you're not seeing progress, or you're not becoming your higher self. You're not getting anything done. You're not keeping the promises you made to yourself or to other people. And that is just a dangerous loop to be on. So as you go into this new year, I want you to start taking inventory of those things that you do instead of doing what you need to do. So if you said that you want to go to the gym, what are you doing instead of going to the gym in the morning? Are you scrolling on social media? Are you ordering DoorDash? Are you turning on the TV and binging a TV show? Are you calling your whole contact list just to talk about BS? What are you doing the first thing when you wake up instead of going to the gym? Instead of looking for a therapist, what are you doing to address the issues that you're having? Are you calling and talking about it to everybody on your whole call log? Are you, drinking every night when you go out, whenever those thoughts start to come? Are you going to the club? Are you, taking any other substances? Like, what are you doing in response to those negative feelings that you may have in that you need to address? So I'm going to list some things that you guys should think about as you start to detach from these escapes and distractions to help you kind of reframe how you see life and reframe how you see these things and how they play out in your life. First of all, you need stronger boundaries. You don't want to keep feeding your flesh and giving yourself what you want. You want to set up boundaries where maybe you only do it once a week, or you only do it after you get all of your work done, or only do it after you go to the gym, depending on whatever your escape is. So for example, for me, when it comes to TV shows, I don't watch any TV shows until I've done all of my work for the week. So I try to keep TV shows only to like Sundays when I'm like cleaning around the house or meal prepping. I don't indulge in TV shows throughout the week just because I'm busy anyway, and I've reframed how I see my life, and I don't allow that to be a distraction anymore. I allow it to be something that I do for pleasure, but I don't indulge in pleasure every single day like I used to. So you need boundaries with these things, especially things like doom scrolling. Maybe you set a boundary to where you don't get on your phone the first hour or two of waking up, or you set timers for how long you can scroll on TikTok. Another thing, you need to be present. That is one of the biggest issues that we have now in society. Like I said earlier, there's so much noise going on. There's so much overstimulation. There's so many things that we can get into in this world that it keeps us from being present in the now, which is causing us to give into these escapisms, because we don't know where to start, where to begin, or what to do. So instead of us even tackling the problem, we just go ahead and get into like those things that make us feel comfortable and just put what we need to do on the back burner, put starting on the back burner, put consistency on the back burner. And so you want to be present in the now and focus on where your feet are. So if you want to start a business, focus on, maybe making a business plan or doing some research using ChatGPT. If you want to go to the gym, go ahead and find you a workout plan that you can do for the week or for 30 days. But be present in the choices that you can make right now, because if you don't, you're just going to get caught up in the what ifs and the could haves and the should haves and the would haves, and that's just going to prolong you even making a change, and also just allow you to keep on giving into these distractions and comforts because it just feels better and easier. You also need a shift in your mindset and understanding that these distractions or means of escape are weakening your spirit. The more you give into it, the more, like I said, you're losing trust within yourself, you're losing that confidence, and you are weakening your spirit to the point where you're not able to listen to your intuition, make better decisions, and just really focus on how you can become better. So just know that as you continue to keep drinking and continue to keep going to the club and taking these substances and scrolling on social media, the more you do it, the less likely you are to be that person that you see yourself as, because what you do frequently becomes your frequency. Now, the next thing to remember is that you need to do more of what feeds your spirit and less of what numbs your spirit. So I like to kind of look at it both ways, because when you let go of a habit, it's very important that you replace it with a new habit. So not only do you want to stop these things, you also want to integrate new habits into your life. So instead of you scrolling on social media, maybe you read before you go to bed. Instead of you binging the TV shows, maybe you find a good podcast to listen to or a good sermon to listen to. Instead of you drinking, alcohol when you go out, maybe you get a mocktail or get some juice. Instead of you going to the club, maybe you plan, maybe going to dinner with friends or finding little outings that you all can do that doesn't involve going to the club, listening to that toxic music, drinking the alcohol, taking the substances, things of that nature. Or you just find you a whole new friend group. That way you can just already have those new habits set up with these new group of people, versus trying to do new things with people who may not be ready to change like you are, and they're just not going to be able to go with you as you elevate in life. So do more of what feeds your spirit. Listen to the sermons, listen to the gospel music. You have to keep doing this over and over again. You have to be repetitive with it. You have to be consistent with it if you want to reframe your mind and really elevate your spirit. And then lastly, to continue to shift your mindset towards these escapisms and these distractions in life, practice gratitude and focus on the good things that God has in your life. A lot of times we also want to escape because we're so focused on all of the bad things that are happening in our lives. One, you can change your perspective and say these things that are not good or bad are really just here to teach me a lesson and help me to grow. So you can, one, change your mindset in that way, but also instead of focusing on the bad, focusing on the good. So every morning when I pray, I always thank God for a couple of things that I'm grateful for. But even today, I started back writing my daily affirmations and writing a gratitude list. Because when you focus on the good things in life, it just continues to build that frequency of gratitude and just like allowing you to be open to abundance and attracting great things. Versus if you only focus on the negative, you're going to attract negative, and that's just how you're going to see the world. So practice gratitude, be where your feet are, be present, and feed your spirit with things that are meant to help you to be better, versus those things that are only dueling your spirit and allowing you to be in this mode of improductivity or unproductivity, lack, and just like being in this constant loop of not making any progression in life. And of course, we're already over 20 minutes, but that's okay because I'm almost done. I'm going to read you guys the verse that I have that really goes well with this video. It's Romans 12:2. This is one of my favorite verses. It's in the ESV version. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So this is why I heavily emphasize just reframing your mind and changing the way you see things versus only focusing on changing your habits, because it's really all about how you think and how you view things and your perspective that it will allow you to make different decisions. This world wants you to be in this state of lack and seeing all the wrong things that can go on in your life, and they're also always trying to take your money. And guess what? All these things that I mentioned are ways that they take your money, and that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother day. But just know that, and so understand that renewing your mind is the key to changing your life. And then I want to give you guys some personal things that I have done to help me to not use these things as escapes, and also just how I live my life right now and how I've been living it for the past 25 years and how I plan to continue to live my life as I continue to grow and become better. So I don't take any substances and I don't drink any alcohol. I'm almost 4 years of no alcohol. Do I miss it? No. Do I care about it? No. I don't go to the club at all whatsoever. I only watch TV shows when I'm cooking or when all of my work is done and or on the weekends. But I also do a lot of work on weekends, so that's really been slim to none lately. I listen to more gospel music than any other music. I like R&B, but I still limit those things because those words and those music and the music is really like casting spells over your life, especially if you're singing it out loud, and it just dulls your spirit, as I said. So I do more of listening to gospel music, listen to the word of God, listen to worship music to just keep me in this positive frequency. I don't watch any reality TV. I unfollowed the Shade Room a long time ago. I think I was in college when I unfollowed the Shade Room. I've been off TikTok for like maybe 3 months now. So when I post content, I use the TikTok Studio app where I can just upload content and schedule it, and that's it. I don't have anything to scroll on. And y'all, it has made a huge difference in my life. I promise you. I only follow people on Instagram that I can learn from. I don't follow any family members, any friends. If I do follow them, sorry, but they're on mute. I just like to use Instagram as inspiration to get ideas, and also, of course, to post inspiration for other people. So that has made a huge difference in my life. Scrolling has been minimal to none. I really don't scroll at all because I don't have TikTok and I never scrolled on Instagram. And then I exercise and I eat clean 80% of the time. You guys know I strength train 4 days a week, also getting in cardio almost 6 days a week. And I love to eat healthy, so I eat a lot of protein, fiber, fruits and vegetables, things of that nature. I drink a lot of water. I don't eat out a lot, but when I do eat out, I always try to find healthier options with a little bit of indulging every now and then. And last but not least, I change what I listen to. So I listen to a lot of motivational, inspirational content where I learn things. If you guys want to know some of the people that I listen to, comment below and I will let you guys in on who I listen to a lot. But just to name a few, I listen to my pastor a lot. He has a podcast, but also I watch the sermons. I listen to someone named Latoya Okia. She posts a lot of content about God. I listen to Joe Dispenza. I listen to this man named 19 Keys, Billy Carson. These are the people that I'm listening to almost daily to help me to rewire my brain and keep me operating at a high level, and constantly reminding me that these things in this world are meant to distract us. These are people who don't drink, who don't smoke. They're not perfect, but they are on the same path that I'm on of wanting to inspire people to be their best selves and to let go of the things of this world. I hope you guys can take something from this video. I will see you guys tomorrow in video 2. Comment what you think about it. Comment how you're wanting to change your habits and change what you use to escape. See you guys in my next video.